Like, if they can't even identify how many genders we have, like, what? They don't live in reality. It's like, to them, it's like fucking Looney Tunes.
Yo, I'm not trans, though.
No, not you. I'm talking about the other guy. Or girl, or whatever that thing was. But anyway, what's your question or debate topic?
All right, bro. I'm going to need your best professional, political, analytical, like, mindset on this, bro. All right? You promise me that?
This guy smoked a fucking blunt before getting on here.
Nah, bro.
Holy shit, this guy is cooked.
All right.
Bro has sunglasses on at night, man.
All right, chill. All right. You're 1 inch in an ICE officer, and an ICE officer is 1 inch in you. Which way are you moving? And you can't say neither, or else your whole fucking family is deported.
What is a one? He's 1 inching?
No. You're 1 inch into an ICE officer, and an ICE officer is 1 inch into you. Is the scenario.
What?
Like you're fucking, bro.
Yeah, let's go to the next person. Next person.
Whole family's deported, yo.
Guys, let's try to have like above 50 IQ conversations, please. No more high or drunk people. Hi, what's up?
Hi. I want to ask, do you know the basic debate structure? And you know what a debate is?
Sure. What do you want to? What's your point here?
Okay. Then here, I want you to explain your point for ICE did nothing wrong. Explain your reasoning.
Overall, or were we talking about good specifically?
I would talk about good specifically because I actually want to have a dialogue.
Okay. She was there impeding a ICE operation, which is illegal. Officers came up to her, gave her a lawful command to step out the car. She disobeyed, backed up the car. One of the ICE officers drew their gun. They gave more lawful commands. She drove towards him. Whether she moved her wheel in a certain way and didn't try to hit him or not isn't really relevant. What is relevant is that she drove the car towards him, which can be interpreted as utilizing deadly force. He reciprocated in self-defense with deadly force, and he stopped the threat.
Fair enough. Okay, so can we agree that ICE follows under the DOJ projects as a law enforcement?
No, because they're under the Department of Homeland Security, but they follow the Constitution when it comes to use of force.
Yes, but did you know that the Department of Homeland Security actually follows the same legal precedents of DOJ, specifically when it comes to actually enforcing their laws?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So what's your...
My point
Because
is...
policy and law are two different things, so that's why I want to make sure...
Yeah. So I prepared something because I may not be a former policeman, but I'm training to be a lawyer. So how about this? So... How about this? So can we agree that ICE agents generally have to follow the law and the Constitution?
Yep.
Okay. So we want to specifically follow under, say, ICE was started through the Immigration and Nationality Act. True?
No, they're started with the Department of Homeland Security Act, 2003.
Yeah.
But they enforced the INA.
Yeah, exactly. They were basically supported through the INA.
They enforced the INA.
They were actually...
And for those of you that are wondering, Immigration Nationality Act is what she's referring to.
Yep. And let's say this. How about this? Under the NIA, in Section 1357, Powers of Immigration Officers and Employees, subsection G1, states that an immigration officer must carry out such function to the extent consistent with state and local law. True?
Say that again?
This is a direct quote. Immigration officers must carry out such function to the extent consistent with state and local law. That is a direct quote from the law.
Well, again, that's open to interpretation based on certain facts and circumstances. But what is your conclusion here then?
Okay, so here, let's keep going down. So basically, we're following that the legal precedent when it comes to murder and specifically police force use of a deadly weapon follows ICE, correct?
Well, it follows the law.
Yeah, and ICE is under the law.
Yep, so what's your...
Okay, so perfect. So I want to specifically talk about how when it is available or when it is all right to use deadly harm, when it's, say, for a police officer, for example, because it's the same thing. And again, you would know this.
Go ahead.
The main thing is that a police officer is only able to use deadly force when they are reasonably in danger. True? Okay.
Absolutely, yeah.
So here, let's go specifically. Title I, Section 16.2 of the Justice Manual, which follows the DOJ. Again, this DOJ and also it follows state, local, and federal law. It said that a law enforcer is not permitted to use deadly force unless the enforcer has reasonable belief that the suspect poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury. True?
Yep.
Okay, so the conditions of that, of what they have to prove, isn't just what they think. We can't just go truly by this, but the specific law indicates that one of the limits is deadly force may not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing suspect, including in a moving vehicle.
Yep.
So we agree he did not shoot the gun to stop the car. Did you say that?
No, he shot because she was using the car as a weapon. That's
Okay.
the difference.
Okay, but he's specifically using
Two crimes could be committed at the same time.
Yes.
So the car has a dual purpose because it's being used to escape while simultaneously also being used as a weapon. Since it got used as a weapon, that's what justified him using deadly force. Now, here's the thing you got to understand, because I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to go on a technicality, whatever. Let's make this very simple for the audience.
Well, because facts don't care about your feelings, apparently.
Well, I'm going to give you right now. I'm going to give you the facts. You mentioned imminency. The car was coming at him. Imminent danger. Deadly weapon. He has his gun. Car versus gun. Proportionate. Another part of it as well. Also, law enforcement officers don't have a duty to retreat, according to the state, like the state of Minnesota mandates for other situations. Law enforcement a lot of times actually has to escalate to go ahead and be able to do their job appropriately. So again, they gave her lawful commands. He had his gun out. She drove towards him. A reasonable person, because that's what he's going to be judged on, not 20/20 hindsight like you're trying to do right now. A reasonable person would see a car coming at them after they've been told to stop and get out, that, oh, not only is she trying to run away, she's trying to run me over, which she actually did do, and he did get hit in the process, but he was able to move out the way while simultaneously shooting and defending himself. This is very simple, open shut, self-defense. The car is a deadly weapon, whether you want to accept it or not. It is what it is. The real reason, though, why everyone is bitching is because it was a woman, right? And people say, oh my God, he killed an innocent woman. But the reality is she was committing a crime. She committed a felony, and she tried to run him over in the process. And the car was a deadly weapon.
Yes, and I can see that. Again, I'm not here to talk specifically about the legality of Renee Good. And
That's what I'm arguing. What are you arguing then? I thought we were talking about facts, not feelings.
I'm talking about Jonathan Ross's action, who is the officer that shot her.
Okay. He was
Yes.
justified.
No, actually, because again, according to the DOJ, which has been admitted and thoroughly reviewed by this presidency and the federal bureaucracy, so it's still by their law, specifically firearms may not be discharged solely to disable moving vehicles, true, but a person in the vehicle is threatening the officer or another person with deadly force by means other than the vehicle. And the specific goes, or the vehicle is operated in a manner that threatens to cause death. Is that true? Okay.
The vehicle is being operated in a manner to cause damage or death, yes.
Okay.
So that
Have you watched the
justifies
videos?
him. A car is looked at as a deadly weapon.
Have you watched the videos, specifically of Jonathan Ross's phone?
Yes, I saw him get hit. You can literally hear the wind get knocked out of him when he gets hit. He's surprised when she drives.
Did you see what happened before?
He was walking around recording the car.
Yes. No, and in that video, you can see Renee Nicole Good say, I am not mad at you, smiling with her right hand on the wheel
She was being sarcastic.
and her left hand out.
She was being sarcastic. Anyone with half a brain knows that she was being sarcastic.
But it's still, they don't know. Again, if we're going to be reasonable, you want to say this. Again, it was clear that her hands were in view. It's clear she didn't have a weapon readily available to her that she could instantly grab.
What part of the car is the weapon do you not understand?
No, because here, I'm going to get to that. Because the thing is about a moving vehicle, there has to be a reasonable obstruction of being able to move out of the way in a defensive manner. That is actually another subsection of when you can use, you say, self-defense. So there had to be a manner in which...
Police don't have a duty to retreat.
No, they have a duty to protect themselves, actually.
They don't have a duty to retreat. They don't have this is what you're not getting. It's funny that you're mentioning the DOJ and you're mentioning how he allegedly broke laws of the DOJ. If that's the case, why isn't the AUSA's office prosecuting him? This would be a slam dunk for them, right? This would be awesome. Let's go ahead and go after
They're
a federal
working on
agent.
it right now, actually.
No, he's not going to get indicted. As a matter of fact, a bunch of AUSAs resigned because they're progressives and they're mad that he's not going to get charged.
Okay.
So you're wrong once again. Anybody else?
No, I'm not wrong, actually, because I haven't gotten into there. No.
She got coked all over the place.
finish? Okay, so it's specifically, again, the moving out of danger. If you see the video, he has about 2 to 3 space from where the car is, where he is, and where the road is. So there's a reasonable doubt that he was able to go back and actually move out of the way. So he has the ability to defend himself, and he specifically stayed in the way of the car, which, again, you can see for 2 straight seconds, you can see her start to move and turn the wheel to the right. Stop. She backs up first away from him. He steps forward. You can see 2 whole seconds of her fully turning the wheel away from him, and then she moves. There is an incredible amount of evidence that he has saw it because of the video. So he has he has reason to see that she wasn't planning on hitting him because he was literally moving out of the way. So I'm saying his use of deadly force was not self-defense. It was truly a case of just, for me, idiocracy.
And this is why women should never be in positions of power. Holy shit. See, because here's the thing that she doesn't understand. He's not going to sit there, right?
Also,
like this is what you need to get, right? Like as someone who's worked in law enforcement, anyone that's been military, law enforcement, anyone that understands using firearms and self-defense and using deadly force, he's not going to sit there and be like, okay, she turned the wheel 7 degrees to the right here. It probably
wasn't
won't hit
7,
me.
it was a
Let me
full
go
180.
Let me go ahead and just get out the way this much and I won't no. They gave her lawful commands. She didn't comply. She backs up the car.
Watch the video.
She backs up the car. They still are giving her lawful commands. Gun is out. A reasonable person at that point would be like, okay, she's going to stop. No, she guns it towards him. Now, I see what you're saying. She spun the wheel this way. She might have not been intending to hit him. That doesn't matter. What matters is, did he behave reasonably given the facts and circumstances when he pulled that trigger? And a lot of people put in that situation would probably pull the trigger. That's what determines the reasonableness. I guarantee if you were in that situation and you were in front of her like that and you gave her lawful commands and you had the gun out and she started going at you, you'd fucking shoot. And you know
I
what's
wouldn't
funny?
use a
Women
deadly
almost
force. I would
always
use other
force
ways.
more than men do.
Or at least
when
you'd
they're
shoot
cops.
the car. You wouldn't shoot her. You'd shoot the tire to stop her. Again, there's a way to do it. And also, again, I don't even know why I debated you, because if you don't view me as a human being, then you know what? I hope you get no pussy for the rest of your life, and I bet your dick is a carrot.
Yeah.
God bless. Fuck you.
This is why we got to keep these women in the kitchen. This is why they got to be in the kitchen. Ridiculous. See, like she's arguing on feelings, and she doesn't understand that reasonableness is not based on 20/20 hindsight like she's trying to do, talking about the wheel, whatever. And there's another thing too also that people need to understand. If you're in front of a car, can you see how fucking far the wheel turned? A lot of times you can't see the wheel well. So like all you see is just the car going like this if you're standing directly in front of it. So people are crazy, dude. People are crazy. If anybody hires her as a lawyer, you're cooked, bro. You're gonna go to jail. Just take the plea deal, man. Just plead, bro. You just take the plea deal, man.
Yo, what up, Myron?
Yo.
All right, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
I just got out of class a second ago, so I kind of want to revisit something I heard you were talking about. You were,
okay.
I believe you were talking about the degree that being fat is a choice.
Being fat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were talking about that?
Well, I didn't really mention being fat, but I do think being fat is a choice, yeah.
Oh, okay. Now, I wanna emphasize I'm a big fan of like empirical evidence. You know, I'm a biochemist, sophomore year. I'd like to also say I probably have some qualifications. You know, 4-year, I'd consider myself an advanced lifter. So, my question is, to what degree do you think that being fat is a choice? Like percent, let's say.
Well, I mean, if you decide to order pizza and then put the pizza in your mouth, I would say that's a choice. And then if you choose to do that over and over, that's a choice. Then if you decide to not exercise after the fact, that's a choice. If you decide to not drink water and drink beer instead, that's a choice. If you decide to not eat vegetables and eat candy instead, that's a choice. So, yeah, being a fat ass is completely a choice. It's unacceptable.
All right, so as a baseline, I'm going to have to agree with you there.
Fair.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. But I also just kind of wanted you to acknowledge that there can exist other factors, like third variables that have an influence on that, and I'll elaborate. So we have
not everybody's going to have the same metabolic capacity. We understand some people have a higher, resting metabolism. But the reality is like, for some people, it might be harder to lose weight, but it's still a choice no matter what.
I agree with that. What I wanted to come here and say, though, there's a ton of study on our total daily energy expenditure, right? It's divided into like TAE, which is basically thermodynamic effect when you're eating.
Yep.
We have EAT, which is your actual exercise, activity thermogenesis.
Yep.
NEAT, which is like your fidgeting, walking.
Non-exercising. Yep.
Yeah. And then we also have our BMI, which is
BMR, basal metabolic rate, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Or BMR, sorry.
BMR.
Apologies.
Yep.
And we definitely can impact that, but that's lesser to a degree of our choice. But as as like fruitful as all of those sciences are in the biomedical field, as valuable as that information is, I think it's equally as scientific and important to recognize other studies like anthropology and one's like socioeconomic status as a bearing onto their ability to like lose some pounds, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, here's the thing. If we're going to bring it socioeconomic status, like being poor is a choice too.
To an extent. I think
it's absolutely a choice.
Everything in this world is black or white, or not everything. I meant gray area, and I think it's wrong to portray it as either black or white. And there's always extraneous circumstances for any argument you make, and that's why I wanted to highlight the matter of anthropology.
I disagree with that. I think that's a bunch. I think if you're gonna, I think being poor is absolutely a choice. And you know, I know a lot of people make excuses for, oh, I'm black, bro, systemic racism, man. Or I'm a woman, I can't get ahead. It's like, no, dude, you like in America, like if you work really hard, you can absolutely make something of yourself. There's a reason why people immigrate here. There's a reason why this is called the land of opportunity. Our capitalistic society is set it up where it's a meritocracy-based system, and if you work really hard, you can overcome stuff. I mean, there's plenty of retards that could barely read that are multimillionaires. You know what I mean? So you look at like Floyd Mayweather and Kai Cenat, these guys can't even read a page from Can of Hat, but they're fucking multimillionaires. They're retards and they made it. So there's ways. I truly do think being poor is a choice.
All right, now you did list some pretty good like anecdotal examples.
Sure.
But as a bottom line, I'd like to also highlight some other like third variables. Like, are you familiar with gerrymandering?
What's that?
So basically, congressmen are responsible for the district lining in states. And the way our voting system works is if a state receives a majority district, let's say the Republican majority, then all of the state's electoral votes are going to be conceded to the Republicans. That being said, yeah, that's how voting works. We'll get there, bro. Basically, there's two strategies in gerrymandering: packing and cracking. Yeah, cracking. And then packing refers to placing all of someone in a marginalized community, like let's say all your black people of a state, into a particular district. They might win that district over 1 out of the 13, but in the end, they still lose the 12 other districts, and in the end, all of the electoral votes are conceded to their opposition political party, effectively stripping them of their political voice and legitimacy. What's your opinion on that?
Well, whoever's in office doesn't dictate if you're poor or not.
The congressmen definitely have a bearing on whether or not you stay in some of these gerrymandered districts because they are responsible for making the lining.
Yeah, but a lot of successful people don't even know who their congressman is or care.
There's a lot of successful people. That's true, but that's not that doesn't disprove my point. That's anecdotal evidence. That's a counterexample.
What I'm saying is that the people that are in office don't dictate how hard you work. Now, for some people, that might mean you might need to work harder than others. Some people are naturally gifted, some others aren't. But whoever's in office as your congressman does not, or even your president, like they're not going to hold you back from success to the same degree that you're going to hold yourself back. I think, and this is a problem, is like we're very comfortable with blaming, external factors that a lot of times are out of our control as to why we're not successful. And that is why we have so many of the problems that we have. I think people need to bear a bit more accountability and responsibility to themselves, where if you're poor, it's really your choice. That you made bad financial decisions, you didn't learn a skill. You can't blame the government for everything.
Okay, I could understand that to an extent, but that is mostly referring to the people that are of legal age, above 18, that have that sort of proactivity and a locus of control where they can actually enact that change to make their lives better, correct?
Okay, so now you're saying it's only for adults? Like
I'm getting there. I just wanted to see that you were on the same page. No, that's not what I'm saying, though. All right, so picture yourself. You're born. You're a wee little jit, right? You're like 10 years old. Your mom is feeding you off of...
So your argument is you don't think being poor is a choice?
I'm arguing that it's
You can be born poor. Let me be clear about this. You could be born poor. You could come in from a poor family, but staying poor is absolutely a choice.
all right. That can be argued, but I kind of want to focus on the
I grew up
aspect
poor.
of fatness.
I grew up poor. I remember, waking up and trying to get cereal, and there was like cockroaches in the cereal bag. I remember, milk going bad. I remember, like not being able to afford clothes. Like I remember all of that stuff. And you can only do so much when you're a kid. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
But once you become an adult, at some point you have to bear responsibility for your life circumstances. And if you're broke still and you're like in your 20s or you're out of your parents' house, like what are you doing? Like, or if you're not working towards something, you don't have to be rich now, but you can't blame a poor upbringing on poor behavior later on.
Okay, that's fair. But
let's get to the next person because I know, completely off topic. And
can I get like 20 seconds max?
this guy.
All right. So when you're a kid, your formative eating habits are mainly dictated by your parents and what they give you. And if you're like 10 years old and you're giving your cereal all these like processed ass foods like cereal and shit like that, that's going to set them up wrong. That's going to be the determining factor of why they're obese later in life. And I agree that that's their choice, but until they're 18, that's realistically and epigenetically a result of their parents' decision onto them. Do you agree with that?
Okay, and then they can change, or they could stay a fat ass.
They can. I agree with that. They do have the propensity to change. They do have the propensity to be a fat ass. But habits are break to change. They're hard to change as human.
Okay, all right.